Awesome. Thank you, James. Thanks for having me. And I just want to say, like, 7 minutes isn't enough. I could speak for 7 hours. And I just want to say I'm really, really excited to share three things that if you can take just one thing, I think it's going to really, really change how you're selling if you're not already. What I'd say as well is if you want to connect with me afterwards, please do so. You can find me on LinkedIn very easily. Three tips. Number one, be yourself, be authentic. It's okay to be you. You know, we are individuals. And I think when we can express ourselves and almost try not to conform with the status quo, that's when we can really dive into some really, really good success and some really long lasting success. There's a real expectation that as sales reps, whether you're an AE, an account exec, a sales leader, whatever they're going to call you, there's a real expectation you're going to conform to a certain way of selling, a certain way of being to get that number, to get that sale, and to get it through to the close. So what I want to share with you is it's okay to be authentic, and it's okay to maybe, be a little bit different. If you can lean more heavily into just being you, that's when not only will your authenticity really, really stand out, but also you'll be legitimized as a professional sales rep. It's more difficult to lie or pretend or try and act a certain way. It's much easier to simply be yourself. So I can't give you an answer as to what being yourself is, but what I want to give you today is an exercise to do in your spare time. Find your creative space, whether it's an iPad or a sketchbook or I don't know, back of a cigarette packet, if any of you are still smoking today. And I'd say this, write down your top 5 strengths that you have with little to no effort as a sales rep. Take those 5 strengths and then work out how on every single call, meeting, interaction with a customer on LinkedIn, how can you at least pick or pluck just 1 or 2 or 3 of them out? And that will really, really speak volumes in terms of the audience that's listening to you, connecting with you, and wanting to go further with you. So number 1, be authentic. Number 2, be creative. And I want to actually share a couple of things that I actually do, and I'd recommend you can either copy or steal, or you can connect with me afterwards so I can kind of help you out with it. So now once you've established your kind of brand authenticity of what your brand is, I brand myself as a sales doctor. I want to fix customers and prospects. I want to help them to a better future, and that is legitimately what I want to do. You need to really give an impact through being creative. And being creative isn't necessarily about creating content or creating things in itself, but it's about giving something of value each and every single time. So here's a couple of things that I do when I meet with a customer. Number 1, straight afterwards, I create a video. So I give a video that is no longer than 60 seconds and no shorter than 30 minutes, where I consolidate everything we've spoken about and I put it together in such a way that it shows, firstly, that I listened, secondly, that I'm giving them some next steps, and thirdly, that, I'm going to stick out from the rest. No other sales rep is really going to do it as well as we are in this interaction. So that's why I use video to really stick out. I'll also confess something to you. I'm super lazy, so I don't want to write a massive email with massive notes. So I tend to find video is a really, really quick and effective and personal route to that. Number 2, I create, quite honestly, the worst Photoshops you have ever seen. I send it to my prospects, I send it to my customers, I send it to people on LinkedIn, I send it to everyone. And what I do is I use this really cool tool, which is free, called Thumbify, which I can basically take a photo of me and them, and I put us in situations where we're either cooking food or I'm crying, or there's a whole host of stuff going on. I have 100%, in fact, I have a 99% hit rate on people responding back to me. And that one occasion that hasn't responded, do you know what? They probably don't want to buy from me. They probably don't want to interact with me. So I would recommend try and copy the Thumbify things that I do. And in fact, I'll give you a cheat to a good thing that I do. If ever you're being ghosted, which happens, stop chasing them. Stop saying, oh, can we do a sale? Or how are you? I just wanted to catch up. No, you didn't. You want to speak with them. I send them an email with a picture of them being abducted up into a UFO, where they're being abducted by aliens. And I send it to them with a title in the email of, are you being abducted by aliens? Every single time they respond back to me, and they know that they should get back to me. So now I even start my sales process saying, do you know what? If ever you ghost me, you're going to get the alien email. Do you want to see a version of it and how it looks? So now they laugh, saying they want to avoid the alien email. Finally, number 3, give value wherever you can with your prospects and with your customers. Go beyond the close. Once you've closed the deal, that's great, but that's when the journey starts. And I give you this as an exercise to do on top of the kind of, write down your top 5 skills as a sales rep. See how you can get from 1 to 100 champions as quickly as possible. That 100 can be within one organization. It can be across 100 organizations. It can be a mix of any of those. But if you can get yourself 100 champions, you literally have a pipeline to last you years. And that 100 very quickly turns into 200, 300, and so forth. So work out how you can actually make them champions. And here's what I would say as a tip to get there. Tell them that you want them to be a champion. Say that you really want to impress on them, where they can recommend you as a person and a brand and your company so strongly that your competition can't even get a meeting with them, because ultimately that's what you're trying to do. And if you want to get to that kind of, that juicy center, that is important to them, ask them this question: what is value to you? What is value to you, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, and how do I give you that? It could be pricing, it could be timing, it could be a whole host of other things, but once you know, store it in there and make sure that every single time you are delivering to them, you are delivering on the value to them. And if you don't know what the value is because you haven't asked, give them something. Have your white papers in your back pocket. Have some stats that you're ready to give them at the end of your discussions. Give them something at the end of your time that they didn't know before. And that's the least you can leave them with. You've actually given them something of value. So quick rundown: be authentic, be yourself. It's okay. You're an individual, as am I. So just lean heavily into that. Write down your top 5 skills that you can really expand on and impress every single time with a little effort. Number 2, be creative, but don't be creative and create lots of content, but be creative and give yourself some shortcuts. So try video, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. It doesn't take long. Do some really, really bad Photoshops. Super easy to do. Takes me 5 seconds each time. Gets me meeting bookings, gets me next steps, and it makes sure I don't ever get ghosted. And thirdly, give value every single time, either the value they have for them or the value that you give to them, because you are the best sales rep they ever come across. And that's where I'll end. 7 minutes, over and out. And thank you for having me, James.